guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is LIB and this is another Ella's Confessions. Today's Ella's Confessions, we're going to talk about how or why it is that the longer you stay single, the harder it is to get into a relationship, the harder it is to find someone. And the longer you're single, the harder it gets. Why is that? Let's talk about it. So if you guys do not know, officially I have been single for 6 years. I've had some dating experiences, obviously situationships, but nothing that has ever led to a relationship since my last one, which was 6 years ago. And dating has increasingly gotten harder for me. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but let's talk about why dating has all of a sudden become, not all of a sudden, but let's talk about why dating gets harder the longer you're single. The longer you stay single, the more comfortable you are with being single. The more comfortable you are with being single, the less you're willing to almost compromise on that comfortability when someone comes. So if someone comes into your life and they don't, meet that level of comfort that you're experiencing by yourself, then you just, push it away. A lot of people are in relationships because they're not comfortable being alone. A lot of people are in relationships because they don't like being alone. They like to be with someone. They like to have someone around 24/7. When you're single, you have to be by yourself. Even while you're dating, you're still by yourself. You're not really 100% vulnerable with someone like you would be if you were in a relationship. And the longer you stay comfortable with that singleness and that loneliness and that aloneness, the more you like it. And the less you're willing to compromise on that feeling. Your standards get higher, obviously, because you're dating and your eyes are opening to things. You're dating, you're seeing different types of men, you're understanding men, you're realizing a lot of things about men. Like I said, because you're not willing to compromise on that comfortability you have by yourself, it's very easy to discard people. Also more likely to sabotage relationships because anything that brings you discomfort, you want no parts. Anything that, scares that, like if you're getting in a relationship, for example, I've been single for 6 years, I'm used to doing every single thing by myself. I do everything by myself. I don't have to tell nobody. I can decide I want to wake up and travel today. I can decide I don't want to eat for 2 days. I want to order out. I can decide I want to go to a party and come back 6 o'clock in the morning, and I don't have to report to nobody. My life is mine, okay? When you're in a relationship, you have to share this information. You have to literally, you can't be selfish when you're in a relationship. You have to be selfless. It's you and that person. You think for two now. Now, as a single woman, I'm selfish. I think about myself. I only care about myself. I am my own priority. Nobody else is my priority. Obviously, my parents, my siblings, but you know what I mean. So anything that low-key threatens this independence that I have, there can be some self-sabotagement, if that's a word, going on, because I don't want to ruin this independent feeling. I like my life. It's lonely, but I kind of like that I can do anything I want whenever I want. And obviously a relationship is not supposed to feel like a burden, obviously. I'm just not willing to compromise on that if it's really not meeting those standards. And that can also be detrimental. Like I was thinking about it, like my standards, the type of men I was dating at 22 and the type of men I'm dating now at 26, two different types of people. Like just how they court me, how they get me, how like it's a very different experience. Like my standards were way lax back then. I was just really dating any and anybody. You know what I'm saying? And this has nothing to do with looks. I'm talking about like the mental stimulation now. But now it's a little different for me. Like what I want is a little different. What I need is very different. I'm a lot mature now. So like, I need some emotional things that maybe back then I didn't really care for. It's also be hard because even while you're dating, right, trying to look for someone or, dating to meet someone special, you're still behaving single and acting single and carrying those single like traits, which a lot of men don't like. So like, I'm dating someone, I'm seeing someone, but I'm still partying, I'm still doing this. These are just examples. And the guy I'm seeing is like, oh, I don't like that you're partying so much. And I'm just like, I'm a single woman, I can do whatever the fuck I want. So like, I'm moving single. I mean, I should move single though, low-key, high-key, but it's very distasteful to a lot of people. So that can also make them, not want to commit to you. It can also be a very difficult transition, just, living for yourself, doing everything for you and just transitioning to doing it for somebody else, like, you know, just having to share yourself like that, that's like, even talking about it is grinding my ears, because that just feels so stressful. Like, I remember myself when I was in a relationship, and I don't know that I really like who I was then. Like, it was so intense and so toxic and just all up in my fucking space, and sometimes I'm just like, ugh, just give me some room. Like, I always talk about this sometimes with people, like, I want separate bedrooms in my marriage. Like, obviously we'll sleep together, but like, I want to have my own privacy, because that's something that is so big to me now, because that's all I have right now, and I love it, I enjoy it. And I feel like, because I've been single for so long, I cannot imagine someone just being in my space 24/7. Like, that would drive me insane. So what are the pros of being single, and, you know, being single for a long time? In my opinion, you have a very strong sense of self. Like, you get to know yourself, because who you are single and who you are when you're with a man, two different people. You get to know who you are from the inside out. Like, now I'm doing all this soul searching, all this soul kinikon, like, self-healing. Do you think if I was with someone I would have the time, patience, I would even think about wanting to get to know me? I'd be too focused on wanting to getting to know the other person. I tell you guys all the time, in my dating life, or like while I was trying to discover myself, like, I'm too busy focusing my energy on other people and to focus it on me. But when you get to know yourself while you're single, you get to know who you are, and you know who you are in the core, and no one can ever tell you otherwise, and you cannot feel otherwise, because you know who you are. So if someone just calls you, if someone insults you or says something about you that you know isn't true, it doesn't even bother you, because that's, you know yourself. There's nothing as great as getting to know who you are on the inside. I'm still learning who I am till today. It's an ever learning process for me. Like, sometimes I don't know what the fuck I like to do in my spare time apart from party and drink. Like, I have to literally start thinking about, like, what other things do I like, what other things make me happy. You don't really get to do those kind of assessments when you're with people, or when you're in a relationship. So to me, that's a plus. I also feel like when you're single, you're willing to take chances with life. You know, like, you can decide to move to another city, change careers without considering anything or anyone. You can decide to up and travel the world. You can really do whatever you want. Like, you can take chances on anything, you know, weigh the risk and go for it, because it's your life, you're living for yourself. I know it sounds extremely selfish as I say it out loud, but sometimes selfish is good too, in my opinion. I think sometimes selfish is good too. And then you're just comfortable and confident with who you are in your core, who you are as a person, who you are as a human being, and there's no other feeling like that. I don't think. It's very liberating. It's very fulfilling, knowing, being confident and comfortable with yourself in your own skin. This has nothing to do with physicality now. This is just the core of you. Like I said, once you're there, baby, you're unstoppable. What are the cons of being single? Obviously, the first one, the one I've been preaching as a pro, the selfishness. I live for me right now, and sometimes I'm unable to put other people's feelings before mine, and sometimes that's not really a good thing to do. You know, I'm very selfish. I only think about me. I think about how things will affect me. I only think about, like, how, like, it's me for me right now. And as much as that is good, that can also be kind of, you know, selfish and not so great. Another con is obviously the loneliness. As human beings, we crave companionship. It's part of our DNA. It's part of our genetic makeup. We want to be, you know, family. We want to be around people. It says it takes a village. Like, that's just human nature, to be with someone, to have that companionship. And it gets lonely. And, you know, obviously, the longer you're single, the more comfortable you are with the loneliness, but it gets lonely. I can't even lie. It's lonely as hell. Loneliness can lead to isolation, because you're so used to it. You're used to being by yourself. You're used to doing things alone. So, like, you just keep doing that, and it can be, you know, isolation is not really great, because as human beings, we need connections. We need to connect with other people. We need to connect with other things, with other energy. Some people can also have some low self-esteem issues the longer they stay single, because they can start to feel like, you know, what's wrong with me? Why don't I have a man? Why can't I be in a relationship? And you know, you can start to feel like there's something wrong with you and start to question who you are as self, which is why it is important to know you, so you don't get to the point where you're questioning yourself about, you know, why is this happening to me, why are things this way. And low self-esteem can end up leading to like a lot of mental health issues. Can be depressed, you know, just be sad because you're not with someone, and it can really affect your mental health. Then, you know, there's no one to lean on. Like, I'm always very jealous of people who like, if I have a flat tire, you know, I have to figure that shit out on my own. A lot of girls that have boyfriends and call their boyfriends, if there's something wrong with my car, I have to figure that shit out. And most of the time, like, that's stereotypically what a man is supposed to do for you, but I have to figure that shit out on my own because I have no one to lean on, literally, in times like that. And that can be very lonely. So there are pros and cons, but I do feel like the longer you are single, the harder it is to get in a relationship. I also don't believe that you have to change yourself to get into a relationship. I think that opportunity of getting to know yourself is one that every woman should go through. A lot of women don't know who they are without a man. I think I'd rather be single and lonely than not knowing who I am without a man, personally. And I'm not gonna compromise on what I want and what I think works for me and my personality. And if that makes me single a little while longer than the average woman, then that's fine. Like, I'm okay. Like, it's you know, it's lonely, like I said, but at the end of the day, it's like, if I weigh the pros and the cons, which one works best for me, you know? And I'm not gonna change who I am to be in a relationship. That's just not gonna happen. So if that's what has to give and I have to be single longer, then I'm okay with that. But yeah, let me know what you think, and let me know if you agree with the notion that, you know, the longer you're single, the harder it is to get in a relationship. Some people think that when they want to be in a relationship, they can just be like, and it happens. But like, relationship, not just like someone that you want to spend, you know, a long time with, someone that you want to get to know and get to be with. It's not easy to just find someone like that matches you and fits you so perfectly. So it is harder. So yeah, that's my opinion on this issue, on this matter. Let me know your opinion. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed watching it. Yeah, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Toodles.